Hi everyone, I'm Evangeline right here at eTrailer. It's honestly been a great kayaking season for me. I've been able to get out onto the creeks pretty often this year, and the reason I've been able to do so is because I've finally figured out the best way for me to transport my kayaks in a way that's a lot less hassle and a lot less stress compared to before. And now I get to focus on just enjoying my journey on the water, and I'm less stressed about how I got to the water. So if that's the case for you, you're looking for a kayak roof rack solution, you're looking to save some time, save some hassle, save some energy, then you might be interested in kayak carrier lift assist options. These aren't just for if you're too weak or too short. There's generally times when people just leave it all out on the water. They have a great time floating, great time paddling, but now their arms are just a little too tired to hoist their kayak up and onto your roof. So let's check out our different options for kayak lift assists, and then that way we can figure out what's going to be the best fit for you and your kayaking journey. Now there are 5 different kayak carrier options that I have for you. Some are super popular, some have been around for a long time, but there's one that's super interesting and very new. But before we get into those and comparing them, let's go over some terms real quick so you can better understand the differences between these carriers. We're first going to talk about loading direction. So there are side loading carriers where you load your kayak up from the side of your vehicle, and then you have rear loading carriers where you just roll or lift your kayak up from the rear or sometimes the front of your vehicle. And then you have your loading functions where they function or assist you in different ways. You have your passive lift assists, which are usually arms or bars or mats that just sit on your vehicle and just help you by just sitting there load your kayak up onto your roof. You have your semi-active lift assists, and these are usually like the rollers or like the slide out assists, where you bring them into position, but you still have to do most of the work. They just help out a little bit. And then you have your, what I call true lift assists, or your active lift assists, and these are going to be different carriers that usually have a gas strut or some kind of function where they do most of the lifting for you. You just have to get the kayak into place. Let's start with our 2 most popular, most asked for kayak lift assist carriers. This is gonna be the Thule Elevator Pro on one side and the Yakima Showdown on the other side. These have been around for a while. I constantly see them on the road. These are gonna be your more premium lift assist carriers, so they are gonna be a bit more pricey, but they do a lot of the work for you. So these are saddle style, side loading, active lift assist carriers. Now, one of the most common questions I get is, how do I get 2 of them on my roof? Many people want 2 elevators or 2 showdowns. Unfortunately, because of their strict requirements for how to tighten them down to your roof, it's pretty tricky to get both of them on there at the same time. Now, I was able to get 1 of each on there, and that's just because I did all the measurements, figured out the best way to get it there, and it worked out perfectly. That's not going to be the same for everyone though, so let's talk about those requirements. Before even considering the Thule Elevator Pro or the Yakima Showdown, you really have to look at your roof rack first. The roof rack is going to be the beginning of it all. If you don't have a custom fit roof rack for your vehicle yet, you can find one right here at eTrailer, and chances are it might be me or one of my friends showing you how to get it installed on your roof. Yakima and Thule require that you have a roof rack that is either flush rail mounted, fixed point mounted, or on a raised rail on top of your car. That's because it requires a good amount of force going out to the side. So if you have a naked roof, this is not going to be a good fit for you. You also need to have a good amount of overhang on the side of your crossbar for this to work properly. That's because with this style of a lift assist kayak carrier, it does go down to the side of your vehicle. So if you don't have enough overhang, then you won't have enough clearance between your kayak and your car, and you may come in contact with your vehicle. However, if you have too much overhang and your kayak carrier sits too far out, that's way too much pressure pulling on the side of your crossbar and won't be entirely safe. So it's always a good idea to double check our product descriptions here on our site. Each kayak carrier has its own specific measurement for overhang. Double check that before continuing on. You also need to have a decent weight capacity because the Elevator Pro and the Showdown are pretty hefty. And that does not include the weight of your kayak. So double check your weight capacities before continuing on or seeing if you can carry 2 of these on your vehicle. But if you're just planning on carrying 1, or if you have a good amount of weight capacity on your car and you're not so concerned about that, well, let's compare the 2. Of the 2 options, the Yakima Showdown is going to be a bit more affordable, has slightly higher weight capacity at 80 pounds for the kayak, and while it does take up more space since it is a larger carrier, it also has very versatile clamps that make it really easy to install and uninstall on the roof. Now there is one downside though, and this wouldn't be as ideal for very tall vehicles or very short people. And that's because instead of utilizing a gas strut, this has rollers on the track. So you do have to roll the carrier all the way out. There we go. A little bit more on this side. And then it pivots down, just like that. So it is yet another side-loading kayak carrier that is pretty easy to use, pretty easy to install, as long as it's a good fit for you, your height, your strength, and your car. Now this also has the ability to carry up to 2 paddle boards though, so not just a singular kayak. This is actually what I grab when I and a friend may want to go out for a quick paddle boarding trip, because I'm then able to load the Showdown up with both of our paddle boards and hit the road pretty quickly. So as long as you can figure out the best way for you to get this loaded up and onto your vehicle, the Yakima Showdown is still a great option, and it's definitely very popular for a reason. But going back to the Thule Elevator Pro, if you have a heavier kayak and 30 to 40% weight reduction that the Showdown offers isn't enough for you, or if you have a taller vehicle and you just can't seem to reach high enough to line up on those tracks, this might probably be worth the extra investment. While it is pricier, it's also a lot easier to use. It's definitely a showstopper over by the water in the parking lot. You just bring this back down, unstrap the kayak, you can hit the water, and then when you're done for the day, this is super easy to strap the kayak back up. And with just a press of the lever, you're back up and ready to hit the road. So it definitely depends on what your priority is. The Elevator Pro is definitely a solid kayak carrying option, and if you have the roof racks to match, whether it's Yakima or Thule, it still might be a good idea to get the kayak carriers to match, and then you have the extra option of getting everything key to like. So you can't go wrong with either one. Both will work well for your kayak lift assist journeys. It's simply a matter of what your priorities are. Now let's talk about your lower end options. These are gonna be a lot more affordable. They're gonna be something that you may consider since they're already kayak carriers with an additional lift assist that you can add on to the carrier. So what we have here are our Malone kayak carriers. The C-Wing with the stinger for the back, as well as the Malone Telos XL used with a downloader. This is going to be a different style of kayak carrying lift assist. This is going to be in the semi-active as well as the active category. So let me explain that real quick. The Malone downloader is a affordable J-style kayak carrier with the add-on Telos XL load assist arms. So you just attach these arms to the carrier, and now you're able to lift the kayak up little by little. So the Thule XL arms are sort of doing the lifting for you. You have to do that initial push, but then it holds it in place for you. So in my case, where I can't quite have the kayak up in my arms the entire time until I get to the car, this is a lot easier because I can take a break or pull out the step stool once I get high enough. Then you have the Malone Seawing Saddle Style Carrier. This option is going to be great if you have something off of the side of your vehicle, like an awning, you want something that's saddle style, and you prefer to rear load instead of side load. So the way this works is the saddle style carrier is used with the Stinger Load Assist as well as the Malone Channel Loader, which is a roller to help you roll your kayak up. So it's a combination of two what I call semi-active load assist carriers. So this is what it looks like. I have the kayak, I have it resting on the channel loader, and that channel loader is giving me clearance away from the vehicle so I can just roll the kayak up from the back until I get up to the carrier, and I can just tilt that down and then load it into the Seawing. Some of these are also interchangeable too. So your channel loader roller will also work with other saddle style carriers if you want to rear load your kayak. As for the Thule XL, it can work with the downloader or the Seawing if you choose to side load assist your kayak. Now again, these are the entry-level options for load assist. It does require a little bit of extra work and lifting to get your kayaks up, but still a big difference compared to doing it yourself. At the beginning of this video, I said I was going to talk about 5 different kayak carrier options, and we've seen 4 so far. 2 popular premium options and 2 entry-level and very helpful options. So what's the 5th one? That one is going to be the Moss Uplift, a very unique lift assist carrier, because it's not just designed for kayaks, it's designed for pretty much any roof rack mounted accessory. So on its own as a kayak carrier, we throw in some kayak straps here at eTrailer with your Moss Uplift kit because it works as a J style and sort of a saddle style carrier where it comes down 2 feet past the side of your vehicle, you strap your kayak up, and then you lift it onto your vehicle. Where it gets real interesting though is that when you take off the rubber strips, you can mount a roof box or a bike rack or a ski and snowboard carrier into the channels of the uplift. So that turns your lift assist kayak carrier into just a lift assist adapter for your roof rack. It's pretty much a roof rack adapter on top of the roof rack on your car. So while it looks a little confusing, that's because it has a lot of extra functions and it's very versatile. The downside to that is definitely going to be the price point, pretty similar to the Thule Elevator, and the height point. It sits pretty high up on your car compared to all the other kayak carrier options. The perks to that is then you can put 2 of them very easily on top of your vehicle. The downside to that is you do have to be wary of low garage doors or garage clearances or low bridges. So check that one out right here at eTrailer if you're curious about the Moss Uplift. I've definitely been a big fan. I've had that on my car all summer and have had a blast with it, not just for my kayak journeys, but my other adventure journeys too. Well, that was a lot of fun. We got to learn some new terms, we got to see some different kayak carrying lift assist options, but here's the thing. I don't really care so much about the specifics of my kayak carrier because my main focus is I want to get out onto the water and have the time of my life. And at this point, which of these carriers is going to help me do that? So if you aren't quite ready to invest into the premium options, there are affordable options out there that will help you get out onto the water, but also help you get back home. And when you're ready to invest in something that saves you a lot of time, a lot of energy, now you know what you're looking for and what you need. So hopefully this video helped you out with that. Things are going to change depending on the height, the size of your vehicle, the kayak, your own capabilities and preferences. My main goal here was just to get you to the base understanding of what the options are, and then you can figure out what the best fit for you is. And honestly, I would love to hear about which one you like more and which one worked better for you. So feel free to give us a call, send us a message. If you have any questions or want to know any more information, we're right here for you. Now today, this was a look at the kayak carrying load assist options here at etrailer.com. My name is Evangeline and I hope you enjoyed this journey.